Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Okay, it looks like we're tired already. Are you sure you're not tired? Okay, so let's stand up. Let's do something quickly. Okay, can we all be on our feet? Can we be on our feet? Yes. Um, there's this nursery reading that we sing in my country. I don't know if some of us know it down here, but I think it's a familiar rhythm. Um, I'll make a lead on. The rhythm is it's a nursery rhyme. We sing in my school then. So after like 2 lectures, the teacher comes in because baby students are sleeping. So it's what we do from primary school. So it's like my head, my shoulder, my knee, my toe. So can we do that? Are we ready? Okay, let's go. We sing along with me, right? Okay, let's do that. My head, my shoulder, my knee, my toe, my head, my shoulder, my knee, my toe, my head, my shoulder, my knee, my toe belongs to me. Thank you. Okay, so we can sit now. Okay, so today our session today is to address the topic is best practices for creating an impactful CSR strategy for the future. We're going to look at a lot of concepts. I remember my first time here, that was in 2015, and I was invited to the same CSR Congress, and what I spoke on that year, it's something I still cherish a lot, and I speak about it all the time. It was about ISR, individual social responsibility. Because for me, the angle I was looking at it at that time was that we all talk about the CSR, and what makes corporate social responsibility, if not for the people, within also the organization. In most times, we want the corporate organization to do something right, but some also, individuals have refused to be responsible. Responsible in the way we do things. A lot of individuals are socially irresponsible, and it's quite clear. And I always say this when I have the opportunity. Say, for instance, you take biscuit and then you throw the paper on the floor. That's a high level of irresponsibility that we do. You drive on the road and the traffic light says stop and you refuse to stop. It's also an act of irresponsibility. So in most cases, you find out that as individuals, we are not responsible, then we work for corporate organization. How then would the organization be responsible? So it's a whole lot. So in starting, I'll start from her, and I'll go like that. Based on the concept, just a 60 seconds. What's your perception about the topic? Just your own opening remarks around it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Caroline. I started an organization 18 years ago in Pune, India, called Hope for the Children Foundation. And we basically, we started in 2007. So I am from the pre-era of CSR. CSR started in India in 2014. And so, before the CSR mandate and after, there's been a lot of changes and their strategy, the way we work as an NGO, along with our corporate, has changed tremendously. One of the little things that I could say is that before CSR, I think corporate were, wanting to give back. I think it's kind of in the Indian blood of giving back. But it was more into terms of, giving for educational material, food, and all these things. But I feel that after, we could create more strategy, more, program that created more sustainability. So this is my little introduction. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Ayo, Dr. Ayo. I need also to introduce myself.
Thank you for making me a doctor. It's nice. I like that.
Okay. I need to introduce myself. My name is Mbaruku Aliviakweli. I'm a director in charge of Africa region for an organization called Global Institute for Water, Environment and Health, which is based in Geneva, but I am based in Nairobi. But prior to this, I was in a state corporation where I was heading corporate affairs and CSR programs. There is where for the first time I was invited by this organization. I think it was about 5 years ago, and I also received an award here as one of the most impactful people, 60 most impactful people. So that is my background, and I have a lot of passion for CSR. What I can say is that I want to start with Professor Banerjee, where he said, I think it has really captured my mind, that we need to, transformation has to be there on CSR and moving towards human social responsibility. I think I've been thinking about that also myself, because I always want to see that my background is corporate, but I want to see a situation like what he's saying, that there will be no strings attached when we are giving back to the community. We know that we are giving back to the community, but it should not be business oriented. The strategy that has really captured me, Doctor, thank you for that. It's very humbling. On my side, that is exactly what we have been doing, our strategies. We have been, when I was there, and even what I advise people is what we need to do is to make sure that the community that we live in are happy with us, for our business to thrive. But again, I think now I need to think twice on that.
Thank you. Ellen.
Yes, good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. So I'll also introduce myself. I was born in Denmark, but I have lived in India and New Delhi for 18 years. And I'm working with an NGO where I am raising money for our projects. We are working in 18 states. We have about 70 projects. And the organization is called Humana People to People India. And I can mention two things, two kind of ways that I think is very important for CSR now and in the future. And that is working with government, with an NGO, and with a partner. This three-part commitment is having huge impact. I'll give you two examples. One is that we are having a project that we call KADAM, where we are giving education to out-of-school children. And this is not a small thing, because we have to go out in slum areas, in rural areas, to find migrant workers that are not going to school. We are going to see how we can convince the parents and the child that going to school is a good thing. And then we have in Haryana, we have from 16 and until now, we have 1,09,781 out-of-school children we have brought into school, where we give them bridge education and help them to integrate in government schools. So what government is giving, they are giving teachers, they are giving buildings. The partner is paying for our work in finding the children, educating the teachers, and making sure that the child is getting the legal documents and can be enrolled in school. So this three-part commitment is very, very crucial. And another example is how we are working on TB, where we are working with government institutions and finding people with TB and enrolling them. Couldn't be done without government institutions and couldn't be done without our work in finding the patient. So this is what I think is very important.
Thank you very much. Okay, so let me go straight to it. For every initiative, everything that is to be done in an organization, leadership is very key. Leadership buying. So, in your opinion, let me start from Baruch now. In your opinion, what role, and also let's connect it, that yes, a lot of organizations actually then also do the CSR, but how do you think they can measure the impact as well? So we're looking at two things together. What role does leadership play in actually driving CSR strategy? And how do you begin to measure, how do you begin to see the impact of the CSR that the organization is doing? So I'll take you, then take her, then go back to Ellen. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Ayo, for that
So
question.
we can make it like 2 minutes so that.
All right, thank you so much for that. I think leadership here is very, very key to the success of CSR in any organization. One, first we need to be seen that we are with the community. We are actually assisting the community, or we're giving back to the community to ensure that the business environment of our organization is well taken care of, and it is the goodwill of the community that we live in that will be able to, the business will be able to thrive. Good atmosphere, taking leadership in showing that, and it starts, by the way, it starts with not me as the head of CSR, but of course in an organization there is a chief executive officer who should also take the lead in all the CSR programs, so that the community knows that this is not just about, it's not just about good feelings, but it's about the leadership of the organization that wants to be, to work closely with the community. So that is very, very important, Mr. Ayo. Yeah.
So I think Caroline can touch on how do you begin to measure the impact of CSR?
Yeah.
Yes.
So just to answer your first question, for me, leadership is vision, right? So whether you are a nonprofit or you are a CSR a company, you need to have a vision. What is it that you want to do? And how, you can connect. So if you are a corporate, you have a vision that you want to feed children, or you want to educate children, or you want to change the environment, you want, choose your partner NGO that is expert in that can help you. If you're looking for child protection, you're looking for education, I think it's important to have a common vision with your CSR and your NGO partner. Now, how do you do impactful, program? The way we work is that from the vision, it's the first part, right? But still you need to come from the community. What is the need of the community? So first we do a need-based assessment. We try to understand what is it that is on the ground. Because from the vision, you need to also assess that through impact, so you can create your impact, you need to assess what is it that people need, right? Because sometimes a corporate can have an ideas, but is it realistic? Is it implementable? So the NGO can really help you in creating that. So need-based assessment. After you sit down, you think, you talk, and then we have a log frame analysis that we do. So we basically have a certain matrix. Okay, we want to educate 1 lakh of children this year. So how are you going to do that? You have to break down your plan, right? From your need-based, okay, Mom said, there's community, there are children out of school, there are lakhs of children out of school. How are you going to bring back those children? So that's your first plan. And then how do you going to assess this? How do you going to make it that it's impactful? So for that, it's a step-to-step plan. And it's very important to have your ideas in place. Yes, I want to, some will say, I want to send college or STEM. STEM is a big, subject right now. So we want to bring children into STEM. Or we just want to bring children back to school because they're out of school. And we know that if they're out of school, they might get into bad habit, they might get into, maybe in some criminality. Because where we work in Pune, the community, the same we have seen, is that children needs to be given opportunity for, and then, again, I have girls that I've been helping and supporting since they are very young. Now some people were asking me, oh, are they graduated? It takes time for them to grow. It takes time, so now they're going to college, now they will have a job after. So education, I think each program has a certain, you need to have certain impact and certain assessment around it, depending on what is the thematic that you're using. Thank you.
Okay, so, Ellen, you've been doing this for close to 2 decades, and you've worked in about 18 states, like you said. Now, what's the uniqueness and peculiarity? Is it a one-size-fits-all model that you've used, or the differences in culture, in background, has influenced your strategy along the line? So what role does that play? Different culture, even though they're all in India, but I'm sure that from one state to the other, there are differences in the way they do things. So how has that impacted the implementation of your work?
So I agree very much with you that we need to make sure that whenever we do a project, it is aligned with the need of the community, because without that, it's like it's nothing. So very, very good need assessment is needed, and there's huge differences from state to state. What you can do in one state, maybe you can't do in another state, and also very close relationship with a partner is needed. And I appreciate partners that are not only like giving a bag of money, but also involving themselves, like when employees they are involved. This is really important. We have seen companies that go out together with us in night rescue. I guarantee you they have never been out before and finding a person sleeping outside, trying to get that person in. We have seen employees that are not so happy to go out and do things in the night or during the day, but like to do things on distance. So we have a program called Each One Teach One, where one employee can teach a child history, geography, math, or whatever. And we used it under COVID, and also we have continued after COVID. These children, they learn a lot from that employee, and I guarantee you that employee learn a lot from that child. And also visiting the child and seeing the circumstances. So this, I think, personal involvement is really needed.
Thank you very much. So I'll go to...
Just a minute.
Okay, yes, one to it. That's fine.
Sorry, there's one area that I actually did not touch on, which was your question, the impact.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think I'll give an example of the impact of a CSR program, where my own example in water sector, as we were trying to, because we used to have, it is still there, what is called non-revenue water, where there's a lot of stealing of water on the roads, or the water getting, not counted for in terms of the business. Then what we decided to do, we saw that this was because the youth and women were actually puncturing some pipelines to get water free of charge, and we were not engaging them. What we decided to do in CSR program was to come up with a sporting activities. Football is loved in Kenya, and therefore what we did was to do a tournament involving the youth, to organize that tournament with the employees, with us coming there, and then of course we were giving them some allowances. And the tournament, the soccer tournament, was very involving for them. And then we came to realize that now the same boys and girls, the youth, came on board, and within that year, we saw that the incidences of puncturing those supply lines went down so much, because the youth now were like, they were part and parcel of the organization, and they owned the project. So that was actually a very good CSR program that we started doing.
Okay, thank you. So I can see that the three of you have centered around what you've done, what has worked, and you have, close to 2 decades of doing this thing. Fantastic. So let's go back to the other way, so that we're not just looking at it from what has worked. So in your experience, what is it that you think organizations should avoid, pitfalls that make CSR fail? And it would be nice for you to give examples, if you had experience of maybe an intervention or a CSR thing that you've tried to do that has not worked or that has failed in one way or the other, or one thing that has affected or slowed down your achievement or progress. Let's look at it from that angle so that people can learn about, okay, don't do this, this pitfall, avoid it when you are instituting CSR strategy. So let me start from Caroline then.
Well, I don't think that there's any failure, to be honest, because I feel that everything is a learning. You see, when CSR came into the place in 2014 in India, I don't think nobody knew about how to go about it, whether it's corporate or NGO. We kind of grew into it. But I think that for me, I always like to pilot. When I do a need-based assessment, I like to take a small group and then pilot it and then scale it. So like now we started a beautiful initiative called Child Friendly Initiative in Pune. We developed different models. And in this, we started with working with the police. So we started with one child-friendly police station. Then the first one, and then we started learning what is it that we are learning from that, and then build on it. I think, if anything, there's a learning. You have big thoughts, maybe some of you have big budget, so start small. Start looking at how you can and build on it. So exactly, you don't get the pitfall like you said. But I can share one of the things that I heard from a corporate, that they were working in some community, and because of the way they had approached the community, then it didn't really work. So your community is your partner. So when we talk about PPP, we need to talk about PPC, because you see, you can have your stakeholders on board, you can have your corporate on board, the NGO is on board, but if you don't have the community on board, your project they will take. You say, oh, let's put a digital school, or let's do any project. They will say, yeah, thank you. They will take it, but then you go back after 6 months or 1 year, and maybe the half of the computer are missing, or we had we did a water machine. They stole the motor. So I think if you do anything, make sure that you have a sustainability plan also, and so if you have that, or a monitoring and evaluation, a strong monitoring and evaluation plan. Because like this, whatever you do, you can still go back, assess what you have given, and this creates sustainability, right? So if in 6 months, 1 year, you go back to see your digital room, but I think don't wait so long. Go back, see, make sure that the community, whoever is the stakeholders, the beneficiaries, are involved, that they own it. Ownership is really important. So it's not the stakeholder that will be owning it, or the corporate. The corporate just want to see their money being used for a good cause. But your monitoring and evaluation system has to be really strong in place, because or else you will be keeping on giving, and at the end, your project, will not continue.
Yeah. So, because I already telling us our time is almost up, not up yet. But you see, why I want us to also be able to say, and I like the angle you came from, the M&E, the monitoring and evaluation is quite key. I remember a project we did when I was the executive secretary of Junior Chamber International Nigeria. It was about fighting malaria. What we did was to be sharing mosquito nets. And we wanted to share 1 million mosquito nets, which I see as an output. But what's the outcome? Now, we missed the outcome. We shared the mosquito net, but did the incident of malaria reduce? We didn't know because we didn't do the initial needs assessment to see what is the reported incidence of malaria. In fact, there was a community. We went back there 6 months after, and their men were telling us that we gave them a bad fishing net. When we gave the net, we gave it to the women that were pregnant, and we lectured them. But they got to their home, their husband is in charge and in control. They collected the net, that you want to be sleeping under the net when we need net to go and fish. So they took the net from them and used it for fishing, but it wasn't designed for fishing, so they got spoiled.
Double impact.
So, I mean, let's have those kind of things. If you have any experience to share quickly so that we can then wrap up. Yes.
I have a very practical example that I want to share with you, very practical, that happened to us as I was heading the CSR program. You know, Nairobi is, is a big city, but we get the water sources from outside, about 100 kilometers away from the city, and we have 4 sources. Now, some members of, in one of the source, some members of county assembly came to the CEO, or my CEO that time, and appealed to him that they actually needed to have a primary school in where they come from, because people are not going to school. But I think that was their very selfish interest. And because the CEO came from that part of the source, he decided that let's have a budget and we build a primary school there without doing what the doctor said, without doing that research and knowing exactly what those people are. But they had their oppositions also. So we actually spent a lot of money that time, and we built a beautiful primary school to start with. I think it was class 1, class 2, and class 3. It was completed within 1 year. Beautiful. But then when it came to the time of registration of going to class 1, we were actually going to have a celebration to that. But when we went there, I think a week before, we realized that there was only one student who had registered for class 1. Only one out of 3 streams. And again, we tried to find out. It was already late. But again, people were now coming to demonstrate and saying that, who told you that you wanted primary schools? Our problem here is health issues. We wanted a hospital. You know that from here to where we need to take our, maternity or even other illness, we have to go about 50 kilometers from here. Now we are bringing as a school and we don't have a hospital here. We are not going to get anybody. And for sure we only had one. That school, it was a wasted time and money, and to date, they enrolled, but it's not doing well. But again, that was a flopped project, but again, we had to come up with a budget to have a clinic, just a clinic.
So let's quickly take Ellen on that.
Yeah, I just want to say very briefly that if a project is not working, it's because we as an NGO have not done a good job. That's pure fact. If we are not following what we are doing to the doorstep and after the doorstep, then it's not working. When we do something in a school, we have to work with a school management committee. We have to work with the parents, we have to work with the student and make sure they adopt whatever we are doing and continue the work. Whenever we are planting trees, a tree is like a baby. If you're not watering it, if you're not taking care of it, it will die. So we have to work with community and find out who will take care of that tree. So whenever you plant one tree, you need to have one person who will look after that tree until it grows up. So if we are not doing our work in a proper manner, the project will fail. That's pure fact.
So in 30 seconds to wrap up, let me start from you so that we'll wrap up and close. Give us what's the takeaway you want people to take from implementing CSR strategy, and also let me add one question to you. 30 seconds. With the new advent of technology, AI, what have you, how do you think that would impact the way we do CSR? Final thoughts.
I like technology. I like AI, but it can never replace a human being. So whenever we have technology in schools, there needs to be a teacher who can follow up, be together with the student and the technology. Just putting a computer in a classroom will never work without a teacher. That's my takeaway.
Thank you. Yes.
I think mine is, my takeaway, take home is, again, going to Prof, that human face of the corporate social responsibility or human social responsibility.
Individual social
That's,
responsibility.
yes, that's what I will actually advocate for,
Okay.
not any other strings attached.
All right. Finally.
For me, if it's my little bit, is that I would like to appeal to corporate. If you have an NGO partner that you're working with and you're satisfied and you see, that they're growing with you, build the capacity. In the mandate, there's a 5% that can be used for building capacity of your NGO. So that could be AI, that could be technology. Like Mom said, we are people from the heart. We are people that work people to people. For us, when COVID came, I was not a technology person, but I had to learn. So my appeal to corporate is that build the capacity of your NGO so they can also rise and also shine with you.
All right, thank you very much. And my final takeaway, go back to what I said first. It's obvious for me, the take is that you cannot give what you don't have. If as individual, we are not socially responsible, I think we should not ask even the government to be responsible. The first thing to do is to first of all be socially responsible as an individual, then you can drive and ask other people to be responsible. Thank you very much, everyone.